All right, everybody. So this is going to be the this is going to be the first video in my new kind of approach I'm taking on these videos. As I mentioned, the new approach is going to be more, it's either going to be something from the practical category or something from a category in which I want to stand out to advise people on. So right now, just because it's something that's sitting on my mind, this is something I just want to discuss generally. So if you're looking for practical advice, this is not going to be practical. This is going to be just kind of a development in the industry that I want to point out. All right. Artificial intelligence and AI. I love it and hate it, right? As an attorney, I feel that it's a double-edged sword because I feel on one end it helps with drafting. As an attorney, 99% of my work product is going to be research, analyzing research, and applying it into how it benefits my client. There are cases that go into every direction a million ways from Sunday. You can find the case that says the sky is blue. You could find the case that says the sky is green. You could argue both ways effectively. So I don't, there's always going to be some case out there. There's always going to be something to argue. But where AI, from my perspective, is the most useful, AI is the most useful when it comes to creating content for you to get you past that writer's block. I find a lot of times, for me, it's starting, new drafting. I always want to write something that's like epic. I always want to write something that is, that changes the course of the conversation. I always want to write something that, a judge will read and be like, wow, this is a really good piece of literature. I write to entertain. I think that entertaining is extremely critical. So, but a lot of times you spend a great deal amount of energy and time trying to, set up how you want to push it forward. And, it could be considered analysis paralysis, decision fatigue, however you want to couch it, but it's a real thing. And you only have a certain amount of time and energy to expend on it. And while you're expending that time and energy, you're losing time and energy for other items for doing the actual work, right? So the first, it used to be that my first day was spent on just mapping, right? Mapping how I want to approach this, what I want to say, whatever the case is. Nowadays with AI, you just kind of like, hey, what's the approach I should take here? And you just kind of roll with it, and then you can move on from that. You should never simply ask your AI tool to respond on your behalf. You should never do that. And you should never just take that and run with it, because I can tell you firsthand, it makes a ton of mistakes. It has overlaps. Remember, as an attorney, right, there are going to be situations where the law doesn't expressly tell you what you need it to say. It doesn't expressly support your case, right? It happens to everybody. The law is not perfect, and in those instances, you need to just spin it to the best way you can. AI does not do a good job of that. I find AI has a lot of overlap. What happens is, as you have these longer term cases where you start putting in all these different briefs and motions, even if you prompt the search tool, even if you prompt your AI tool and you say, please create this response that is in favor of, I don't know, Mr. Maletti, the plaintiff, it may still make an error and think that, that it's looking for the other side, or it's looking to support the other side. Like, things happen all the time. And if you don't pay attention to it, you're going to get screwed. You're going to find yourself arguing the wrong position or saying something that's catastrophic. So I would say the proper use for AI as an attorney is probably just for purposes of writer's block. I think that's the most important part. I think that, at least for me, I think the writer's block is serious. I think a lot of times, I won't know the best way to approach something, and I just kind of need that like initial push and even how to just start the conversation. Something as simple as, Your Honor, today we set forth this opposition. because we're seeking to boom, 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 boom. And that helps set you up so much easier for like how you want to approach and structure your response than having nothing. It really eats away at the analysis paralysis issue, and it does a good job at helping you get past the first hump. So, baseball player. So yeah, so I think that's the best way. I think AI, the best purpose for AI is to just simply get past that writer's block and that writer's hump. I think that as an attorney, you need to get used to the fact that you're doing your own research, and I've yet to find the good research tool that is satisfied what I've needed. I'm trying. I'm looking. I'm currently reviewing a new product now, a new subscription, but nothing really speaks to point, and everything needs to be reviewed. So I don't know how it works yet. I don't know how good the technology is yet. I'm sure it'll get better, but at least right now in its current iteration, I think that AI is best served as assisting with breaking the ice and starting writing and getting past that writer's block. So at least a good structure and format on how to deliver your message moving forward. So that's the first portion. So I will come back again. So hopefully this was helpful in understanding the extent to which you should be using AI, and how I think it could be helpful in developing better, more comprehensive, elaborate drafts and responses. But you still need to be a lawyer. So let's not forget this.